Note: these videos are fact-based, made for curious minds and knowledge lovers. Books. If you spot any mistakes, please comment. It helps me improve and keeps the facts accurate. Some may love cinematic visuals, but my focus is purely educational and informative. Clapperboard sparkles. For decades, paleontologists have been at war over a single animal. A creature so strange, so contradictory, it feels less like a real dinosaur and more like a monster from mythology. That animal is Spinosaurus. Was it a deep-water leviathan, a 60-foot river monster, with a paddle for a tail, hunting giant fish in the depths of prehistoric seas? Or a reptilian submarine, more at home in water than on land? For years, every new fossil just seemed to add another confusing layer to the puzzle. But now, a stunning discovery from a remote corner of the Sahara is about to change the game. Scientists have unearthed an entirely new species of Spinosaurus, one with a weaponized jaw and a massive, scimitar-like blade of bone erupting from its skull. This predator wasn't a deep-water hunter. It was something else. It's time to rethink everything you thought you knew. Meet Spinosaurus mirabilis, the Hell Heron. The Spinosaurus enigma. To get why the Hell Heron is such a big deal, you first have to understand the mystery it's helping to solve. The story of Spinosaurus is one of the most fragmented and frustrating in all of dinosaur science. It starts over a century ago with German paleontologist Ernst Stromer, who discovered the first, perplexing remains in Egypt back in 1912. What he found was an animal that defied easy labels: a giant theropod with a long, crocodile-like snout, conical teeth, and, weirdest of all, enormous spines on its back that hinted at a colossal sail. Stromer had found a true enigma. Tragically, his discovery's life was cut short. The original, priceless fossils were stored in a Munich museum. In 1944, a World War II bombing raid completely obliterated them. All that was left was Stromer's notes and drawings. For the better part of a century, Spinosaurus was a ghost, a legend whispered among paleontologists, the dinosaur lost to history. Then, in the early 2000s, new material started turning up in the Kem Kem beds of Morocco. Piece by piece, a new, even stranger picture of Spinosaurus began to form. These new fossils pointed to an animal profoundly adapted to life in the water. Isotope analysis of its teeth showed it spent a huge amount of time submerged. Its bones were incredibly dense, a feature we see today in animals like manatees and penguins that use heavy bones as ballast to control their buoyancy. Its nostrils were pulled back high on its skull, so it could breathe with most of its head underwater. And then there was the tail, a deep, paddle-like structure, unlike any other theropod, that seemed perfectly built to propel its massive body through the water. And just like that, the river monster hypothesis was born. The scientific consensus started to lean toward an image of Spinosaurus aegyptiacus as a highly, if not fully, aquatic pursuit predator. An animal that didn't just wade in the shallows but actively swam and hunted in the deep river channels of Cretaceous North Africa. It was a compelling vision. But it had problems. Some researchers questioned if that powerful-looking tail was really efficient enough to move such a behemoth, or if its body was truly built for hunting underwater. The debate raged on in a scientific tug-of-war that became known as the Spinosaurus Wars. Every new paper just added fuel to the fire, but a clear answer was nowhere in sight. Spinosaurus was still a paradox, an animal caught between two worlds. The mystery wasn't solved. It was just getting deeper. A discovery in the dust. The next chapter of this story wasn't waiting in the fossil beds of Morocco or Egypt, the usual haunts for Spinosaurus. It was hundreds of kilometers away, deep in the central Sahara, in the modern-day nation of Niger. Today, the landscape is a sea of sand, a place the local Tuareg community calls Sarig Taggart, no water, no goat. But 95 million years ago, this place was a different world. It wasn't an ocean, but a vast, lush inland environment, a forested landscape carved up by a massive network of powerful rivers. The clue that led paleontologists here was almost as ghostly as Spinosaurus itself. A single sentence in an old monograph from a French geologist, mentioning a fossil tooth found in the area. For over 70 years, nobody went back to check. It was a needle in a geological haystack. But in 2019, a team led by University of Chicago paleontologist Paul Sereno decided to roll the dice. Guided by a local Tuareg man on a motorbike, the expedition pushed deep into the remote sands. And there, in an area called the Farak Formation, they hit pay dirt. During that first trip, and a follow-up in 2022, the team started unearthing the remains of a Spinosaurid. Right away, it was clear this animal was different. And more importantly, its location changed everything. The fossil site was between 500 and 1,000 kilometers from the nearest ancient shoreline. This was no coastal creature. This animal was living, and dying, far inland, in a purely freshwater river system. The detective story was taking a huge turn. The evidence here, buried alongside long-necked sauropods and giant crocodile relatives, pointed to a completely different life for a Spinosaurus. As Sereno described it, the team's reaction was immediate. As they pieced together what they'd found, creating 3D digital models of the bones on a solar-powered laptop in the middle of the desert, they began to grasp the full significance of their discovery. They had found the first unquestionably new species of Spinosaurus in over a century. And it was an animal that was about to shatter the river monster mold. The big reveal: meet the Hell Heron. The creature that emerged from the Nigerian Sahara was so astonishing it earned the name Spinosaurus mirabilis, the wonderful, or astonishing, spinned lizard. But it's the nickname, coined by Paul Sereno himself, that really captures its spirit, the Hell Heron. The name paints a vivid picture not of a deep-sea monster, but of a colossal wading predator, stalking the shallows. And two incredible features, revealed by these new fossils, make that picture crystal clear. First, and most stunning, is the crest. We've known other spinosaurs had some bony ornaments on their snouts, but this was on another level. Spinosaurus mirabilis had a massive, scimitar-shaped crest of bone that curved dramatically up and back from the top of its skull. Formed from its nasal and prefrontal bones, this thing was so large and unexpected that when the paleontologists first picked up a fragment of it in 2019, they didn't even know what it was. Only after finding two more pieces on their return trip did they realize the magnificent headgear this dinosaur was rocking. This wasn't just a bony ridge, it was a biological billboard. The surface of the crest is covered in grooves and channels, a telltale sign that in life, it was encased in a thick sheath of keratin, the same stuff our fingernails and bird beaks are made of. This keratin sheath would have made the crest even bigger, maybe reaching a height of 50 centimeters, or nearly 20 inches. Even better, those channels are a dead giveaway that it was brightly colored. Just like the casques of a cassowary or the bill of a toucan, this crest was likely a dazzling display, a blade-shaped beacon for recognizing its own species, scaring off rivals, or attracting mates. It's the tallest head crest we know of on any non-avian dinosaur, a piece of anatomy built for pure spectacle. The second feature is just as remarkable, but it's all business. The jaws of the Hell Heron were a perfect, deadly fish trap. Its long, slender snout was filled with the classic conical teeth of a spinosaur, but with a unique twist. The teeth of the lower jaw didn't meet the teeth of the upper jaw. They stuck out and slotted between them when the mouth closed. Paleontologists call this an interdigitating tooth row. This setup, unseen in this exact form in other dinosaurs but shared by fish-eating specialists like some crocodiles and pterosaurs, creates a cage of spikes. It isn't for slicing or crushing. It's built for one thing: grabbing and holding onto large, slippery prey, like the giant coelacanths that swam in these rivers 95 million years ago. It's the ultimate tool for an ambush predator in the water. The great debate re-examines: so, what does this magnificent, crest-headed fish trapper from deep inside a continent do to the Spinosaurus wars? Does the Hell Heron kill the river monster? The answer is more complex, and way more interesting, than a simple yes or no. This discovery doesn't necessarily mean the evidence for a more aquatic lifestyle in its coastal cousin, Spinosaurus aegyptiacus, is wrong. What it does, with stunning clarity, is show that the Spinosaurus family wasn't a monolith. They weren't all doing the same thing. This is where the name, Hell Heron, stops being just a cool nickname and becomes a perfect ecological description. Professor Sereno envisions this dinosaur wading on sturdy legs into water up to 2 meters deep, but spending most of its time stalking the shallows. Picture a modern heron or a stork, standing perfectly still in the water, waiting for the right moment to strike. Now, scale that bird up to the size of a school bus, top its head with a giant, colorful blade, and arm it with a jaw that snaps shut like a steel trap. That's the Hell Heron. And skeleton of Spinosaurus mirabilis backs this up. Its hind limbs seem to be proportionally longer and more robust than those of S. aegyptiacus, built for supporting its massive weight on solid ground and in shallow water, not for paddling. Its entire anatomy, the inland habitat, the fish trap jaws, the sturdy legs, all point to a life as a shallow water ambush specialist. It wasn't chasing fish in open water, it was letting the fish come to it. This forces us to reframe the whole debate. The question is no longer, was Spinosaurus an aquatic hunter or a shoreline wader? The new question is, which Spinosaurus are we talking about? The answer might just be both. It paints a picture of a dinosaur family that was remarkably adaptable. Maybe Spinosaurus aegyptiacus really did evolve into a semi-aquatic hunter in the vast coastal estuaries of the ancient Tethys Sea, using its paddle tail and dense bones to its advantage. At the same time, deep inland, its cousin Spinosaurus mirabilis conquered a totally different freshwater ecosystem by perfecting a different strategy. The Spinosauridae were more versatile than we ever gave them credit for. They were masters of the shoreline, using different hunting playbooks in different environments. One might have been a reptilian penguin, the other a monstrous heron. This discovery doesn't end the debate. It enriches it, revealing a family of predators that were far more diverse, specialized, and ecologically complex than we ever imagined. They weren't one single monster, but a dynasty of giants that ruled the waterways of the Cretaceous world. A lost world reborn. The discovery of Spinosaurus mirabilis does more than just introduce us to a new dinosaur, it brings an entire lost world back to life. The Farak Formation in Niger gives us a remarkable snapshot of a specific time and place, the Cenomanian, around 95 million years ago. The fossils found here let us paint a vibrant picture of the Hell Heron's home. Imagine a lush, forested landscape. It's a world without endless sand, dominated by vast, winding rivers with banks thick with vegetation. In this environment, the Hell Heron was not the only giant. Its fossils were found near the remains of other enormous dinosaurs, including 2 different kinds of long-necked sauropods. These colossal herbivores would have moved through the forests, maybe coming to the river's edge to drink, always wary of the predators lurking nearby. And the Hell Heron wasn't the only predator. The fearsome Carcharodontosaurids, huge meat-eaters with shark-like teeth, also stalked this land. The waterways themselves were teeming with life, from turtles to massive crocodile relatives. The main course for the Hell Heron would have been the enormous fish, including coelacanths that could grow up to 12 feet long. It was a complete, functioning ecosystem, and Spinosaurus mirabilis was its top freshwater predator. This discovery also gives us a crucial snapshot of the final days of the Spinosaurs. During the Cenomanian, it seems these dinosaurs hit their peak in size and specialization, but they were also becoming more cornered geographically. While their ancestors were more widespread, late-stage Spinosaurians like mirabilis seem to have been stuck in the massive river systems of northern Africa. They evolved into highly specialized, flashy giants, perfectly tuned to their local homes. But that specialization may have been their undoing. The reign of the Spinosaurs, including the Hell Heron, seems to have ended right around that 95 million year mark. The geologic record shows a period of major sea level rise and climate change. As the oceans advanced, the vast inland river systems that these giants depended on would have been drastically changed or wiped out. Their highly specialized lifestyle, once their greatest strength, became a fatal weakness when their environment vanished. The Hell Heron, and its entire magnificent family, was pruned from the tree of life. This discovery marks not only a high point of Spinosaur diversity but also the final, dramatic chapter before their extinction. The story of the Hell Heron shows that even the most famous dinosaurs still have incredible secrets to tell, and that a single discovery can change our entire perspective. If you want to stay on the cutting edge of what we're learning about the prehistoric world, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell. You won't want to miss what we dig up next. From a ghost known only from lost bones, to a deep-water river monster, and now to a colossal wading, Hell Heron, our picture of Spinosaurus has been completely transformed. The discovery of Spinosaurus mirabilis is a perfect example of how science really works. It's a journey, not a destination, with each new fossil adding another piece to a puzzle millions of years in the making. The Hell Heron, with its scimitar crest and fish trap jaw, gives us a richer, more complex portrait of this incredible dinosaur family. It proves they weren't a one-trick pony, but a diverse group of predators that mastered the water in more ways than one. And it leaves us with a tantalizing thought: what other astonishing creatures are still out there, waiting under the sand, ready to change everything we think we know?